What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a little bit of a look at a winning Diaboromon deck. Now, I did tell you, I was pretty clear about this, that Diaboromon was looking so much better in the upcoming metagame. The BT5 was really starting to look good for Diaboromon, and I know that yellow has been absolutely crushing over in Japan. Seriously, right? If you start looking at tournaments over in Japan right now, it's, well, look, I've shown you Lord Nightmare with all the stars and all of that. Check that video, there's a link in the description. But it certainly looks like Diaboromon is, well, as good as it has ever been, I think is probably a polite way to put it. Now, this deck list comes from Twitter. It was sent out by Seagull Sendai. Shout out to lovely folks at Ensan Gaming for hooking me up with the deck list. And if we start off having a little bit of a look at the Digitama, we've got 4 copies of Sumamon. This is the one that says if you got another Digimon with the same name as this one, you gain 2,000 power. But of course, what we're looking at here is a Diaboromon deck, which means you're going to be playing a whole bunch of tokens, which means that you are almost certainly going to meet this condition and get the extra 2,000 power. There is one other Digitama we see here, and it's Sumamon, the one from BT5. Because when you're attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has unidentified in its type, that's basically the deck we're playing here, you draw a card, so you get to draw a card when you attack. It's not the main goal of the deck. You want really the extra power to make sure that you're taking out all those Digimon you need to. But you know what? It's nice to have it there as a one-off. And we're going to see a lot of repetition in terms of the Digimon we're going for here. So for instance, if we take a little bit of a look at level 3s, we have got 14 level 3s in total. 12 of them are Keramon. Though obviously you can only have 4 of each Keramon. Don't worry, we are tripping Keramon here. So we've got 4 copies of the Keramon from BT2. If you have another Digimon that has the same name as this Digimon, then on your turn, you get to draw a card. This is a very nice little bit of a draw engine. In theory, if you've got 4 Diaboromon out that have all Digivolved up from Keramon, that is an extra draw 4. Now, that's not going to work all that often. It'll work occasionally, and that'll be lovely. But the point is here that there's extra draw that fits quite nicely in here, and that is a very nice thing indeed. We've also got 4 copies of the Keramon that came around in this particular set in BT5. When you play, you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add a Digimon with unidentified in its type, that is almost all of your Digimon, and an Errata Sonata to your hand, and then put their other cards on the bottom of your deck. Clearly, if you're playing Errata Sonata, which you are, and you're playing an unidentified deck, which you very much are here, this is absolutely going to be something you are taking advantage of. And then we've got 4 of the promo Keramon. Now, this is the point where we need to just mention in this video that this deck in English could become a problem. Over in Japan, there was a promo pack that got you one of each of 8 promos. So if you got 4 packs, you had the playset, and they were on the front of a magazine, etc. It was quite doable. Over here, you get a pack when you go to a tournament, and you get 1 of those 8 cards, 1 copy thereof, which means trying to get playset, and bearing in mind each shop is only getting like 32 of these packs in total. So each shop will have a playset of each of them, given out among all the players. This is going to be a problem, because if this deck is as good as it looks, trying to get these promo black cards outside of Japan is going to be a nightmare. In Japan, super easy. Out of Japan, nightmare. But the Keramon here just says, on your opponent's turn, this Digimon gets an extra 1,000 power. Combine it with the Digitama we've already had a little bit of a look at, and basically what we're seeing here is a very powerful Digimon that you're going and building up, and that is a good thing. Outside of Keramon, we do actually have a pair of Gotsumon here. It's a level 3 blocker. You lose 2 memory when you attack, but it doesn't really matter. It's there as a blocker. You're not going to attack with it. What you are going to do with it is you're going to do a little bit of blocking. Now, moving over to have a little bit of a look here at your level 4s. We have 10 level 4s, and they're all Chrysalismon. Literally 10 level 4s, all of them are Chrysalismon. That's a little bit weird here. So we do have a playset of the Chrysalismon that came around in BT2. It's got a skill, an inheritable skill. When you play another Digimon with the same name as this Digimon, you gain a memory. Bearing in mind, and that is not limited to once per turn, that is really important. So essentially, every time you play a Diaboromon token, you're going to go and get yourself an extra memory, and this deck, as we're going to see, is going to play a whole bunch of tokens. Well, I know we haven't got them yet, believe me, we will. And when we get to that stage and we're playing all of these tokens, it is going to get just a little bit ridiculous. We've also got a playset of the Chrysalismon that came around as a promo, and I'm sorry, I know this is a second promo we need a playset of. That is not going to be easy outside of Japan. It's got blocker. And yeah, you lose 2 memory when you attack, but like we said, we've got some on here. We're not going to be attacking. We have no interest in attacking whatsoever here. This is here purely for blocking. It means that your opponent is going to struggle to get, well, to really touch you or do very much, because you're going to be blocking while you build up. And you've got to get some block in here so you can build up into your Diaboromon. That is pretty gosh darned important. Then we've got just a couple copies of the Chrysalismon that came around in BT5, the new one here, and this has got a couple of skills. It's got a skill that says when you Digivolve, if you don't have an Errata Sonata in play, you can play one without paying, which is nuts. And then on your turn, this Digimon and all of your Digimon that share a name with it gain Rush, and this is phenomenal. Because it means that every time you play a Diaboromon token, you can attack with it the turn you play it. So not only are you going to be playing, and again, this has to Digivolve into a Diaboromon for this to work, but assuming that you do, every time you play a Diaboromon token, it's got Rush and you can attack with it the turn you play it, that is a little bit over the top good. Now moving into level 5s here, we have got 8 level 5s, and they are all Infirmon. Starting off, we got the Infirmon from BT2, that on your turn, if you Digivolve into a Diaboromon, you reduce the cost by 1. This is, of course, a very good thing, because it means that you're just Digivolving up a little bit cheaper. This is nice. And then we've got the one that just came around in BT5. Yeah, that's right, we're not playing the promo. Only 2 playsets of promo so far. But your Caramon can Digivolve into this for a memory cost of 4, ignoring this card's Digivolution requirements. So you can actually Digivolve from a level 3 right up into this, which is awesome. And then on deletion, it's got an inheritable skill. You play a Diaboromon token, which is a level 6, 3000 power, 14 cost. I.e., you Digivolve this into a Diaboromon, and then when Diaboromon goes down, you get to play a Diaboromon token instead, which is clearly a wonderful thing. Bearing in mind, if you've got a Diaboromon evolved from a Chrysalismon, you get to gain a memory at this point. So you're actually playing a token for -1. It builds up pretty nicely. And you can see here, right, we are playing basically Caramon, Chrysalismon, Infirmon. We are just going up through the evolution line. There's multiple types, but we are keeping very standard here, which is a good thing, because that's what the deck revolves around. So that, of course, means that moving up into level 5, it is a Diaboromon world, and we're all just living in it. Now, we got 4 copies of the new Diaboromon. That is the one that just came around in BT5. Important to note that Diaboromon is actually a white card, not a black card. Just putting that out there. So it does mean that if it's all you've got out, you can't play a black option card, for instance. It's rarely going to be an issue, but it is worth repeating. The new one from BT5, when you Digivolve, you may play a Diaboromon token, which is kind of awesome. That's your 3000 power, level 6 Diaboromon, etc. It's really cool. So you Digivolve into it, you get a Diaboromon token, that's awesome. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are also playing free copies of the promo Diaboromon here. Some of you may have noticed that the price for this card in English is getting a little bit silly. That is a video we're going to be looking at later on. But just as a little side note here, this is seeing play, and it's really good. And you get it in 1 out of 8 packs over here. And most people are only going to be able to get hold of a couple of packs. This is going to get a little bit silly a little bit quickly. Also, having playable cards in here means that the sealed packs will also unfortunately jump in value because there's a chance of a Diaboromon inside. Boo! But for each Diaboromon you have in play, you get security attack +1. And remember, when you Digivolve, you get a Diaboromon. And you've got the inheritable skill from Infirmon that gives you a Diaboromon. And there's a Rata Sonata, we'll get there in a second, that can give you a Diaboromon token. So yeah. And Diaboromon tokens, remember, when they're on the field, they are just Diaboromon. There's no difference between a Diaboromon token and a Diaboromon. Man, I've said that name too much in this video. So my point is, this is going to build up the security attack very, very quickly. We've then got one level 7 here. It is Armageddonmon. You probably saw this coming because, well, you can delete a Diaboromon to play it as a free cost. You play the level 7 from your hand for a free cost, just deleting one of your Diaboromon. Bearing in mind, when you Digivolve into the BT5 Diaboromon, you play a token, but it doesn't really do anything else. It's then just a vanilla 11,000 power Digimon. But if it has Digivolved from an Infirmon, you can delete it, which means you get to play a Diaboromon token, and then Armageddonmon comes in as a free cost to play normally. You cannot tell me that doesn't sound awesome. It's a really good combo people will be taken advantage of. And you do delete Diaboromon, so that skill absolutely does kick in. It's got Rush, so it's a 15,000 power Digimon that can attack the turn you played it. And on everybody's turns, level 7 Digimon do not activate their on-Digivolution effects, which is huge, because the reason Diaboromon could never gain a foothold in the 1.0 meta was because of Omnimon. When you Digivolve into Omnimon, you get to delete all Digimon with a particular name of your choosing, which means you get rid of all Diaboromon and all the tokens. That's not a good thing for you. Well, Armageddonmon stops Omnimon's skill, which means you're not just wiped by a single Omnimon, which changes everything. Now, in terms of Tamers, I have already alluded to a Rata Sonata, but let's make it official. You gain a memory at the start of your turn if you've got any Digimon with unidentified in its type, which is basically your entire deck. And on your turn, when you Digivolve into Diaboromon, you can suspend it to play a token. Which means if you Digivolve into a BT5 Diaboromon, you play 2 tokens. Or you can Digivolve into the promo and you still get to play a token. It's a little bit good. And then, of course, that token will give you security attack +1. Bearing in mind that you're hoping that all of these are going to have Rush as well, this is an absolute no-brainer 4 of in these decks. Do remember, of course, that we do have the Chrysalismon that, as well as giving your tokens Rush, will also let you play it for free when you Digivolve, which is pretty awesome. And we've got the Keramon that will help you search it out. So let's make no mistake about it, this Tamer just catapults up into pretty ridiculous, over-the-top, awesome territory. We've then got 4 copies of an option card to finish off, and if you've been following my reveals, you will know which option card I'm going to talk about, because it's the option card that lets you play tokens, which is kind of your point here. It's Catastrophe Cannon. It is a 4 cost. You Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, and then if you've got a Diaboromon in play, you may play a Diaboromon token. So we've got this to play tokens, we've got a Rata Sonata to play tokens, we've got the one that Digivolves and plays a token, we've got the Infirmon which has a deletion skill which plays a token, and yeah, fine, at the start of the video I kept alluding to these tokens but not telling you how we're going to get them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a bunch of ways to get them. And what you're essentially left with here is a deck that can swarm tokens, all of which have Rush. You've got a level 7 that you're playing as a free cost, And because you're basically just playing Keramon into Chrysalismon, into Infirmon, into Diaboromon, this deck is going to have quite a bit of consistency going on, and this sounds pretty gosh darned awesome to me. This isn't the kind of black deck I'm usually excited about or interested in playing, but this one does look very good. Though I do have to caution you again, if you want to play this deck in, well, the UK, US, etc., outside of Japan, you are going to need 11 of these promos that come randomly one per pack. This is going to be a stupid deck to try and build outside of Japan. It is going to be crazy expensive. Inside Japan, not a problem. If you were a serious Digimon player, you just bought 4 copies of that magazine to get 4 of the packs. Outside of that, very different situation. But I want to know what you think both about the deck and about the situation, so let me know in the comment section. Get us, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.